My blessing from above, though in darkness have no fear, light will shine on those who hold them near. They know that sorrow they will pass, for I know in this life there will be some pain, but remember that love, yes it will, love will reign, yeah, love will reign, yeah, in my heart I believe it, love will reign, oh. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People live and laugh, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain, far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow. There's gonna be some pain, but remember that love, yes it will. I know, yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again, and love. I can hardly wait. In the light of love shine on us. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace. There'll be peace, happiness and joy.
Love will reign. And we're excited that you're here joining us on Love and Stuff. So if you're joining us here live on the Love and Stuff community page, or our home page, or to the YouTube event, or Twitter, click share. Have five of your closest friends, five of the more popular ones, join us in a salute to Angel Warriors who have traded their fight against breast cancer for wings, as well as two special survival sisters that we have later on in the hour. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am hopeful that after watching this live stream that you will share with someone to get screened, that you will have wonderful memories of those angel warriors in your own life, and you will drop their names in the comments, and that you will help against the fight against breast cancer. Maybe you will purchase a hope kit or of some sort, but that you will get involved in the fight. It is a fight, and African American women are disproportionately affected in comparison to others. And so I hope that you will join the conversation and continue the conversation. When we raise our voices together, we can help to spread the word about the importance of breast cancer screening and support. So rise up and join us here in the Love and Stuff community so that we can reach more people about breast cancer and raise the awareness. And hopefully, you will share this on your own social media pages and channels that others might consider getting tested and getting tested sooner. I'm going to share a small clip of a young woman who shares a part of her journey. We do not own the rights to this clip, but we are sharing this clip in the hopes that whether you are young and old, wherever you are along the pendulum of life, that you will get tested. And so I am hopeful that you will click share right now so that others can see how important it is. We're live on Love and Stuff in Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Tomorrow's not promised to any of us, and if I can make today count, that's what I'm gonna do.
Jessica Florence was just 21 when she found a lump on her right breast.
When I think of breast cancer, I think of, an older woman, 40, 60, but not 21, 22.
With no family history of breast cancer and a healthy lifestyle, Jessica was concerned.
My gynecologist told me that it could not be breast cancer because I was too young to have breast cancer.
But her instincts led her to seek a second opinion. By the time somebody paid attention, she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
African American women are twice as likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer earlier when compared to Caucasian women, and unfortunately have 3 times the mortality rate.
After surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy, Jessica was looking forward to renewed health. But within months, her cancer was back, this time in her spine. Knowing she needed other options, Jessica turned to Mayo Clinic.
Listen to your heart here a little bit.
I will say Mayo Clinic has been the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Doctors like Sabrina Sani explain younger women may not consider themselves to be at high risk, but the reality is breast cancers are diagnosed at all ages.
Women across the board, regardless of ethnicity, should really be counseled to check their breasts.
Jessica recognizes her chance to change a stigma around cancer and has chronicled her journey on social media.
There was a community out there for me, but also there are a lot of African American women who go through breast cancer who don't tell their story.
Dr. Sani reminds all women, be vigilant when it comes to changes in their body.
And if they feel something, they should really say something about it.
A year from now, I see myself successful, being that successful architect that I want to be, because Mayo Clinic gave me that quality of life.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Alex Osaida.
I wanted to share that clip with you because whether you're young or old, or consider yourself young or old, seasoned or brand new, there is the chance that you could be impacted by breast cancer. And the earlier the detection, the better, particularly as you heard in the clip, African American women, it is vitally important because oftentimes African American women, especially, are diagnosed with more aggressive forms of breast cancer. I'm Marcus Holmes here on the Love and Stuff community page, Marcus R. Holmes page on Facebook, Twitch TV, YouTube events, and Twitter, asking you to share the word in this Breast Cancer Awareness Month along with us to help raise attention. Let's rise together and raise attention and lift our voices and get involved. You can get involved by giving, making a donation, starting a fundraiser, getting your company to be a corporate partner, volunteering, sharing information, and learning more about it. Those are many of the ways that the National Breast Cancer Center Foundation advises us all of ways that we can get involved. And I want you to join us in getting involved as well. I've asked some of the folks within the Love and Stuff community, and I'm asking you to drop the names in the comments of those angel warriors who have traded their fight in breast cancer for wings, who have made their transition. We want to speak their names, that their memories will be felt and that their names will be heard so that others will understand it's a serious fight and that we have lost, many great angels who are now angel warriors. And so I received a couple of photos from some of you, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that others of you will drop photos in the inbox and drop photos in the comments so that we can include them in one large collage. I wanted to share one of the angel warriors that we've been talking about this month, Shanita Biles. And if any of the city of Detroit workers are around, they will know who Shanita Biles is. I want to keep speaking her name. What a valiant fighter she was in this war against breast cancer. And she became an angel warrior. And we will continue to speak the name of her sweet and kind spirit and continue to remember that this can impact mothers, grandmothers, uh, young women who aren't yet mothers. So many are impacted. I want to encourage you to drop the names of your angel warriors in the comments so that we can share with everybody, so that everybody can hear their names and we can speak them aloud so that all will know. We'll be right back. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we want to speak the names of angels and a few survivor sisters to join us during the hour. It's Love and Stuff. Welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. This is Christina, your money coach, and I'm going to hop on here real quick and record a video about making a budget, my favorite thing. We have to shout out our sister friend, Christina Smith, who's a part of the Love and Stuff community, who is also a powerful, speaking of powerful entrepreneur with the Powerful Money Tools LLC. She is Christina, the money coach. And if you want to get your financial house in order, you should reach out to her here on Facebook, on YouTube, and many other areas. She's our partner, and we really appreciate her. Thank you. Those of you that are joining, I hope that you will click share, tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, YouTube subscribers, 5 of the more popular ones to join us as we raise our voices and raise attention to breast cancer awareness. So important that you understand that African American women in particular are 40% more likely to succumb to breast cancer because the more aggressive forms of breast cancer seem to impact African American women. I raise that because it's important that you get screened and that you tell all of your sister and brother friends to get screened today. In this segment, we are highlighting some of the angel warriors that some of you in the Love and Stuff community and around sent pictures of them that we might speak their names. And we continue to speak their names in the hope that their names will live on and that the work in their fight against breast cancer It lives on beyond their time in this earth school, even though they are now angel warriors, that we, in their name and in their great indomitable spirit, continue the fight to eradicate, breast cancer from the world. And so I wanted to highlight again Melitas Glover, who was a valiant fighter and a strong woman of faith. I think faith is so important in that fight. She was also an advocate in her union for AFSCME Local 542, and a staunch supporter of her union and a staunch fighter for the rights of the members of her local. And if any of the members of her local come through tonight, I hope that you will click and share this video stream so that others will take up the fight in Melitas Glover's name, that women, particularly African American women, will be diagnosed earlier, and that whatever preventative measures that we can take and help them to take and support that we can provide will be done in the name of Melitas Glover. Speak that name. And while you're speaking that name, wherever you're watching from, drop in the comments the name of your angel warriors, that we might speak their names. And we'd be happy to have a picture of them. If you haven't sent it to us already, you can inbox it to us at the Love and Stuff community inbox, or any of the inboxes on any of the platforms you're on right now, a picture and their name. And if you want to tell us a little bit about them, we will include them in a collage that we want to continue to circulate. Even though this month has a focus for breast cancer awareness, we realize that people are being diagnosed every day, and that we want to help in the fight against breast cancer awareness. Again, you can support it. The National Breast Cancer Foundation, which you can find at nationalbreastcancer.org, has many ways that you can, as an individual or an organization. You can give many different ways to donate, even hope kits that give different things that someone who may be going through this fight might need in their time of care, corporate partnerships, fundraisers, volunteering at events, sharing the information, and participating in learning centers so that you can learn more about this dreadful disease, which has become more prevalent in women than lung cancer in 2022, that you can stand forward and stand in the wings of a great angel. We're continuing to share with you different angels who have gained their wings. And I wanted to bring up another angel who is Adrienne Nicole Mackey, another angel who gained her wings. And we want to speak her name and show her pictures, speak her name, and in her great name, we hope that you will become involved in the fight against breast cancer. It's important that we become involved. Speak the names of those angel warriors who fought valiantly until the end. Speak their names and drop in the comments their names so that we can speak their names as well. I'd love to have pictures of those folks in the comments. We'd love to speak their names. We are in the month of October, all around breast cancer awareness. We wanted to take out time to ensure that you understand. Love and Stuff understands that there are 77% women in the Love and Stuff community. And it is not lost on us that breast cancer doesn't only directly impact women, it directly impacts men also. And we have an angel warrior that will show that is a man. But if it only impacted women, there isn't a life in the earth school that a woman's life doesn't impact, right? A wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, all of those roles are played by women, right? Are fulfilled by women, right? And so we want to get the word out, particularly in the African American community, whether you're 21, as you saw at the earlier clip, or 22, or 62. Women along the age pendulum, along the continuum of life, are experiencing this dreadful disease and experiencing this diagnosis that requires Herculean care and tons of angel prayer. And so I'm asking that you will click share and tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, Twitch followers, YouTube subscribers, Twitch TV aficionados, 5 of the more popular ones to join us. That's right. Karen Poole is with us. And thank you for submitting pictures of that beautiful angel warrior, Adrienne Nicole Mackey. And she's right, early detection saves lives. And so it's so important to us. And I hope that you will join us in this cause to raise your voice so that we can help to save some lives. We'll be right back. That's right. The gratefulness journey every day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life is available now on Amazon. I am pleased to be able to share this book with you. I believe that you have to sow the positive seeds in your psyche. And one of the ways to do that is through the practice of gratefulness. It can help transform your life. I hope you will get your copy today at Amazon. We are talking about breast cancer awareness. And I am so thankful that some of you have sent photos of your angel warriors. I am hopeful that you will speak their names. Those of you that haven't will take a moment to speak their names, to let everyone know how important it is to get early screenings, early detections, and to join in the support and the fight of breast cancer, which has become the most prevalent form of cancer for African American women in 2022, more prevalent than lung cancer across all forms of cancer. I want you to hear that, and I want you to understand that we have to raise our voice so that people are diagnosed and it's caught. If they are diagnosed, it's caught in stage 1. Because for African American women, especially, the more aggressive forms of cancer, of breast cancer, seem to impact African American women, and it's tougher for them to survive it. So tonight we wanted to call the names of angel warriors, some of them who were detected early, some of them who were detected later on with these very aggressive forms of breast cancer. And so it's important that we speak their names, in their memory, that we pick up the fight. We oftentimes say, I'm going to do a libation in the name of my homie, and I'm gonna put one in the air for so and so. I want you to put your voice in the air, raise your voice, and tell the women in your life, tell your sister friends, tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, tell your mother, tell your cousins that they need to get tested, that they need to become aware of breast cancer, and they need to share and spread the word and support those that are contending with this dreadful disease. I want to bring up the face of another angel warrior, Winifred Armstead Mucker, also known as Pooh, another angel warrior who traded time for eternal after a valiant fight with breast cancer. As you can see, breast cancer impacts across the age pendulum, the continuum of age. It is so, so important that we honor and speak the names of those that have gone before us in this fight, in this work. And I am just thankful for those of you like Karen Poole and Tasha Green and others who have shared the names of angel warriors who have traded in this fight for wings. We want to speak their names and remember that there are those that have gone before us who have given their lives in this cause and who have transitioned to a higher plane, to another plane, to another place. But we will not forget them, and we will not forget to remember to speak their names. What about you? I hope that you will drop names in the comments of folk, men and women folk, whose names we can call, whose names deserve to be shared, whose names deserve to be spoken, whose names deserve to be honored. It is so important. I want to share with you again from the National Breast Cancer Awareness, Breast Cancer Foundation, excuse me. One of the other opportunities that you can afford yourself is becoming a community ambassador. A community ambassador. And that is simply a person who becomes a leader and seeks opportunities to share breast health information and promote programs to people in their community. I think we all could help to promote the programs and share it with people in the community. If you're interested in that, you can go to the nationalbreastcancer.org/community-ambassador. Community-ambassador. And there are a host of ways that you can get involved. Even though we're coming to the close of the month and our formal close of celebrations, we are not going to stop raising awareness for breast cancer. It is so important. And there are some special opportunities coming up for a sister space to have some discussions so that women, there are women that don't have those close sister girls, right? There are women who don't find it easy to talk about these things. So we also want a space for them to be able to do that. And so we have some women who have volunteered to step up and invite you to that space because it is critically important that you understand you are not alone and that this information is so vitally important. I'm hoping that in the moment, one of our guests will be joining us and we will go to a quick break and we will be right back. I'm hoping very shortly that we will have our sister survivors to join us right here on Love and Stuff.
Hello, friends of Loving the Scriptures and family members too. Listen, I'm inviting you to join me this Wednesday and you don't want to miss it. This is the last week of Clergy Appreciation Month and I'm going to be doing a love checkup for clergy. So all pastors, all teachers, all apostles, prophets, bishops, whatever ministry capacity you serve in, you don't want to miss this Wednesday. Please join me 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Love and Stuff platform, but also Facebook Live and Instagram Live. And of course, everybody else, you're always welcome to be where I am at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday night. See you there.
That's right. We want to be where Darren Williams is. He is a sage and sound educator, theologian, all things Africana, and he is delving into this love discussion from the scriptures. What do the scriptures have to say about love? And he has this love checkup that he has had for educators and for members of ministry and clergy, and a love checkup for you. How's your love going? How's your love game? Are you upping your love game? Are you interested to find out what the scriptures have to say about it? Join Darren Williams with our newest video cast of the Love Network family here on Facebook. It is Love and the Scriptures. And maybe you haven't yet subscribed to the scriptures in their power, and that's okay. You might be interested and intrigued by what the scriptures really have to say about love, and you might decide to use them as your measure of love. I invite you to join us each Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Love and Stuff Community with Love and the Scriptures. And join us Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Our favorite sports guys who love to talk sports and stuff, talking trash and stuff, and ladies educating you on the sport so that when you're with your dude, that you'll know what's happening in the game. And you might find a few tricks to do in the halftime show as well. You don't want to miss Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. These two sports heads love sports, all things sports. And of course, it's football season. And, if you're like me, you're wondering, will the Lions ever roar? But wherever your favorite team is, in whatever city and whatever sports, Kamau and Felix has some up to the date news and stupid sports news as one of their featured segments in the show. You don't want to miss it. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and all of the other times across other time zones. Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. You don't want to miss it. We're speaking the names of angel warriors. And I'm so glad that you have joined me, because our intent in this month is to raise awareness and to raise our voices, our collective voices, in the support of breast cancer awareness. And as we have said many times throughout the show, and we will continue throughout this journey of supporting those that are impacted um, by breast cancer and those who support them. We will continue to say how important it is to have early detection, how important it is to have early screenings. And that early detection and early screening isn't just for women. It's for men. And I wanted to share with you a very noted and scholarly and anointed gentleman who dealt with breast cancer himself, Reverend Dr. James Jennings Sr., a stalwart pastor and minister, former pastor of the New True Vine Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, and father to many preachers and pastors, but father to literally his sons in ministry, his biological sons, a number of them pastors as well. And so it is so important to note that breast cancer, the face of breast cancer, is not just an age or a gender. The face of breast cancer is men and women of faith. It's fathers and grandfathers. It's daughters and young adults. There are so many. And so we wanted to speak his name. And thank you, Darlene Jennings, for sharing his name and photo with us. His legacy will never be forgotten, but we want to speak his name so that men understand that it doesn't this breast cancer doesn't only impact women directly. It doesn't only impact young women. It doesn't only impact older women. It impacts men across the age pendulum as well. And so it's important that early detection, that you are checking your body. And when something doesn't feel right, you have to check it out and you have to find out what it is. Early detection saves lives, as I think you saw earlier in the comments. And we subscribe to that exponentially times 100. It is so important that we speak the names of these angel warriors who have fought valiantly, some of them men and women of faith, some of them staunch advocates for the underrepresented, some of them mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers. So important that we speak all of their names, and we ask for you to speak all of their names in this fight. So drop in the comments the names of those angel warriors whose names we should all speak. And we will be right back in just a moment. we have to highlight our partners here in the Love and Stuff community, and we absolutely, among them, love Sisson Hardwood Flooring and Sisson Photography. If you are looking for exceptional work and exceptional workmanship, commercially or residentially, hardwood flooring, there is one name that you should know. It is Sisson Hardwood Flooring, and you can reach them on every social media platform, especially here on Facebook. Ernest Sisson and team does an extraordinary job. And as photography goes, if there is an eye shot that comes from heaven, I think Ernest has that glimpse and glimmer in his. You want great photography among the many photographers in our community. I'm highlighting tonight Sisson Photography as well. So reach out to Ernest Sisson, Sisson, here on Facebook. He will do you well. Thank you for being a partner to us, Ernest, and great work. And we'll have to showcase more of your great work for people who love hardwood flooring. That's what we love in the Love and Stuff community. We love to be able to share with you things that we love and that we know that you will love. And that's why it's important to us in this month of October to share with you from angel warriors the things that we love. Angel warriors who have traded their fight against breast cancer for angel wings. And it's so important that we speak their names and that we never let the lives, the memories, the legacy that they've created, we never let it down by raising our voices on their behalf to bring awareness to breast cancer, to bring awareness to the impact of early detection, early screening, to bring awareness to support systems that we need to have in place in communities and churches and workplaces, that we have support for those that are impacted. And as you may know, it's not just the person impacted directly, it's their family. It's that caregiver who is now unable to care for her children and prepare their meals that need support. It's that wife who wants to help her husband who needs support, that might need to be financial support where there was two incomes and now there is one. There's so many ways to get involved, and I invite you to go to the nationalbreastcancer.org website to learn more about breast cancer, to learn more about places to find support and ways in which you can get involved. We talked about that some of the more um, aggressive forms of breast cancer impact African American women at a much higher and alarming rate. And there are so many different ones, but one of the ones is the triple negative breast cancer, which impacts, again, a lot more African American women than it does other women. And unfortunately, African American women are disproportionately more likely not to survive it. That diagnosis of the triple negative breast cancer means that the three most common types of receptors known to fuel breast cancer growth are not present in the cancer tumor. This means that the breast cancer cells have tested negative for hormone epidermal growth factor and estrogen and progesterone factors, but because they lack the necessary receptors, the common treatments do not work. They're very ineffective. So they almost always have to use chemotherapy to treat it. And it is sometimes still an effective option. Sometimes they may respond more to that than other ones. All right, I'm just checking for our guest. We have a guest that's coming, and it looks like she's having a little bit of challenge there. And we'll keep right on moving because we have two sister survivors who we want you to hear from to encourage you as we speak the names of angel warriors. We definitely wanted to speak the names of some sister survivors to join us. And so I am hopeful that they will be able to come in momentarily to join us here. And I'm going to take one more quick quick break. Just one of our other providers, partners here, and you'll hear more about our partnership with her and a special event that we have coming up at one of her great facilities. But here, ladies, learn a little bit more about Detroit Couture.
Hi, my name is Jean Rochelle, and I own Detroit Couture. We are a fashion forward women's boutique, and we offer friendly sizes from small all the way up to 3X women's sizes, very generously fit, very great quality. I actually have on one of our pieces today. It's called the Cuffed Up. It's in gray, burgundy, and black and olive, and it actually has a lot of stretch and give. So listen, in this time, we try to make sure that first of all, it's quality and customer service that we offer our clients. And I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share with you. So go and visit us at DetroitCouture.com.
Thank you, June. One of our partnerships that works with and for us is with Detroit Couture, a successful clothier and bridal salon. Ladies, if you are looking for cutting edge fashion, you're seeing June on TikTok and all of the other social media channels, here on Facebook as well. And she has some one of a kind, avant-garde type fashions, and she's got everyday wear fashions. If you're looking for great fashions, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for great fashions for your ladies, Detroit Couture, and they ship around the world. You want to definitely go to their site, Detroit Couture. And June, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support in everything that we do. All right. Those that are joining us on YouTube, I see some comments there, and we're going to, we want you definitely to, all right, be careful with those comments. All right, very good. We love comments from our YouTube viewers, and we just want to remind you this is around Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am so hopeful that you will join us in raising your voice around breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer awareness is so important, as I was just sharing with you. Some of the traditional therapies that work for, other women, other men, don't all work for African American women. And so women particularly need to know that no matter where you are in your journey, that there is support. There are support places all around. And I am wonderful. I am encouraging you to go to the National Breast Cancer .org to see some of those places for support. And you can share that information with others within your network so that they will be able to take advantage of that information and really raise their voices. I am bringing on to talk with me, and I'm so glad that she was able to make some time to be with us. Hers is not an unfamiliar face to the Love and Stuff community. Our initiative for the love of justice is led by her almost, and she is a very integral part of that effort, because we want you to lift every voice and vote, which is going to be coming up in just a couple of weeks. But I wanted to bring her to provide some encouragement today from a slightly different aspect. And we're so honored and pleased to have her with us, Valerie Colbert Osumwadi. I say Osumwadi, I missay it every time.
Can you hear me, Marcus?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. All right.
And
it just so happens I'm wearing pink today.
And you're wearing pink today. And I'm so excited that you are here and wearing pink today. And thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. It means the world to me. And I think you probably know you mean the world to me. And
I do.
And so I wanted to bring you on to talk as much as you wanted to talk, or felt, open to talk, because you're in your own journey in this awareness, and I wanted to share that with you because it's touched me. I think I, told you I had to get my mind together just in talking to you, but share with us a little bit about where you are in your journey.
Okay, so I haven't been that public about it, but I think I've recently told you that I have. Prior to my surgery, I just wanted to take the time to really be within my own prayer closet, my family and community, close community,
Mhm,
while I kind of wrap my head around the diagnosis,
mhm,
And so back in July, I had my regular mammogram, and I was trying to, really kind of get back on track going to Carmonos because I had some mammograms at my um, other doctor's office, my internist, which probably isn't the greatest place to have your mammogram, but they are, trained professionals and that kind of thing. And so sometimes during the COVID, it was easier sometimes to get to one place, than maybe another, And so with that being said, I was, went to, had I've been back on track with my regular, routine.
mhm,
And so in July, um, having my normal gynecological update, my doctor says, okay, you need to take your mammogram. Let me give you a script, that kind of thing. And
mhm,
so in July, I went to Carmonos where I had my mammograms and had my, regular mammogram.
mhm,
Um, and so 3D, because I know that's kind of what they're doing these days. And, that's what's the most progressive as it relates to mammograms. And, those decisions are based on, breast type and all of that kind of stuff. And, probably even history in your family too.
mhm,
So it's a much more, I want to say in depth. That's just the way it's been explained to me, way of looking at the breast. Okay. So your gynecologist or whomever will probably say, oh, I think because you have this type of breast, you need to have a 3D mammogram or
mhm,
whatever. So
mhm,
had that 3D mammogram. And so um after that, a couple of days later, I
mhm,
want to say it was so quick, okay? I
mhm,
got a letter from Carmona saying, hey, we saw something on your mammogram. We want to come back. The paperwork is not alarming because women do go back for second mammograms and there's nothing there.
mhm,
And so got a letter from them saying, hey, we need to, have you come back and take a look at your, do a second mammogram, take a second look or whatever.
mhm,
And so, and at the same time, my doctor called me and said, oh, Carmonos wants you to come back and whatever, whatever. So I did, immediately because my mother had breast cancer. My
mhm,
mother was a breast cancer survivor.
mhm.
And she got diagnosed right around the age that I am now.
Wow.
Okay. And so at any rate, went for my second mammogram, and they wanted to do an ultrasound as well as another mammogram.
Mhm,
And so when I was there, it's funny because at that point, my doctor and I were kind of missing each other in messages, but I was, went and of course, and so that's just not something you mess around with, especially if you have a history.
mhm,
And so went to get my second mammogram, had the ultrasound, and sure enough, they saw something, you know. They were confirming that they did see something. And so at that time, the doctor said, I want to do a biopsy right now. I don't
mhm,
want to wait. I don't want you to come back. Are you prepared? And, I said, well, I'm by myself. And he said, oh, no, you don't have to have anybody. It's not like it's, you're going to be under anesthesia or whatever. So I said, well, fine. He's saying your doctor wanted that to happen. I said, well, that's great. But yeah, you can do it. So had my biopsy and and it's kind of interesting because when I was, having that biopsy, I felt like, and I think I shared this with you. I'm pretty sure I did when I, talked to you later on. I've shared with you that I felt like a kind of an urgency with this doctor. Okay. It was like, and I don't know, maybe he's always like that because breast cancer is serious, And so, but I felt like this urgency with him. And so after I had that, he, basically you get your report back, blah, 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 with 5 days or something to that effect, your pathology report. So time went by, I'm ticking off the dates, and I don't hear anything from my gynecologist because that's where the report was going to go back to. And I'm like, that's not good. But I wasn't going to get in my own head. Okay. And so so finally, when the last of the days went by, I called my doctor and I let him know. I said, well, look, I'm trying to find out what is the outcome of the test. And so so I can kind of chuckle a little bit now, but the receptionist says, please hold, so so I'm thinking, okay, that's not good either, So she came back and she said, well, the doctor wants you to come in. I knew then, that it was not good news. Okay.
And in your head, what were you thinking then, Val? Do you recall
Okay.
what you were thinking then?
Actually, I'm thinking then I'm going to have cancer. I said, because first of all, I've known this doctor for, she's been my doctor forever. Okay. I actually was introduced to her when she was in residency with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law was like her mentor, and so I met her when she was new in training. Okay. And then when my brother-in-law wasn't practicing anymore, she became my doctor, and that's been like a long time ago. So I've known her well enough that she's a straight shooter, you know what I mean? So which all doctors should be anyway. But when she would have gotten on the phone and said everything's okay, if it was okay, she would not have prolonged that. She wouldn't have had me come in to tell me, oh, everything's okay,
Right.
And so so in my mind, I'm like, that's not good. Okay. And I need to be trying to prepare myself for whatever it is she's getting ready to tell me. Okay. So, I started thinking, oh man, did I miss any mammograms? When I missed it, oh my God, was that, that was just so stupid. And it is, you do need to be on your health. And so, so anyway, so I told my sister, actually I told my brother, who is also my pastor. We have that unique kind of brother pastor friend. He's also my twin brother. So we are very, very close. And so a whole lot of lines we got to kind of watch. But tell my brother, in the capacity of my pastor, to pray for me. I told him when I had the biopsy. And then I told my sister, who is a nurse as well. It was actually her husband that mentored this woman. And so so I said, that's not a good sign. And I don't know if you have any healthcare professionals in your family. They are, pretty straight shooters too. And they sometimes forget that they got to they're not talking to their peers. They have they sometimes forget that.
Right.
And my sister's like, nope, that's not good news. And she wasn't saying that to alarm me, but she was saying that as in her professional capacity, just be like I would do if it were something that I was familiar with in my profession.
Yes.
And so I also told my daughter, I debated if I wanted to tell her before I heard what the doctor said, but I, told her, shared it with her. And of course, she wanted to be there. So went to the doctor's office. The doctor, being as professional she is, do you want these, want them in when I'm telling you? I said, of course. And I got the diagnosis that, you have breast cancer. And so she's not an oncologist. She's not a breast cancer specialist. So she gave me the basics of
Mhm.
what the report said.
Mhm.
And so she said, one of the things that she said to me was, you know, first of all, you'll get through this.
Mhm.
You know, she said that, everybody makes us the same quote all the time. This is not your mother's breast cancer. And they weren't speaking specifically, the cliche, this is not your mother's, you know, Toyota, or you're not your mother's Cadillac, or you know what I'm saying. So they were saying, this is not your mother's cancer. They have come so far in cancer research and things that my mother did not have, was not privy to.
Mhm.
And I will say that my mother did not pass from cancer. She
Mhm.
really was cancer free. And
Mhm.
so that, that's what she said. These are, this is not like your mother's cancer. So,
Mhm.
your recovery, your cure is absolutely possible,
Mhm.
and so she explained what I had, what they had seen on the path report. And they
Mhm.
found a tumor, and, it was cancerous. And they had, their belief that perhaps there were cancer cells in the lymph nodes. And so that was really the tumor was small.
Mhm.
But their concern was more cancer cells getting into the system, going
Mhm.
other places.
Mhm.
And so that's really, I knew that was the real concern.
Mhm.
So, my doctor, at that time, gave me the names of doctors. She said I would trust these people with my life,
Mhm.
but one thing that she said, because she knows, my faith, she knows, what I stand for. She said, and I'll tell you this, she said, these are great doctors. I would trust them with my life. And she said, but you don't put your trust in them
Mhm.
either. You put your faith in God.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I said, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, talking to her, and of course, my sister, the nurse, was peppering all kinds of questions. And so, but, I'm thinking in my mind, wow, just been diagnosed with cancer.
Mhm.
I'm just like, I'm relatively healthy, never, been to the hospital for birth, giving birth. So
Mhm.
it's not like I've been to the hospital for any kind of catastrophic anything. And it's
Mhm.
usually me that's the supporter.
Right.
I'm the person on the other side. Okay.
Mhm.
So all of that was just like, wow, I was just really kind of numb,
Mhm.
And so, doctor, giving me encouragement and just said, listen, you tell me what you want to do. If these are the doctors you want to go with, call me, and I'll get the ball rolling for you, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. So I told her, okay, I need to talk about it. And so that same day, I did not want to be emotional, so to speak, in front of my daughter,
Mhm.
because my daughter and I are very close. She
Mhm.
is my only child,
Mhm.
and so I could only imagine what was going through her mind, because my mom had cancer. And I know what was going through my mind when
Mhm.
I heard my mother's diagnosis. And I had several other siblings, but
Mhm.
I knew what was going through my mind. So I can
Mhm.
only imagine an only child thinking, that her mother,
Mhm.
who she's extremely close to, is got cancer. Okay.
Mhm.
So, the
Mhm.
big C word.
Mhm.
And so I took a moment. I said, tell everybody, look, I need a minute by myself, even
Mhm.
in the doctor's office.
Mhm.
And, I just basically cried out to my Lord.
Mhm.
And, you get the whispers in the ear, you're going to die,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. And I said, no, get thee behind me this day,
Mhm.
because I'm not claiming that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I, called my brother, called my pastor, and as God would have it, he was at home, and
Mhm.
he said, "Come on over. We're
Mhm.
gonna the whole family just come." And as
Mhm.
a family, we prayed together.
Mhm.
We put it in God's hands, and we pray for each other, because, as He put it, you are our beloved sister. So
Mhm.
we are all affected by
Mhm.
this in some
Mhm.
way. you know. And so, so that day, that day that I got the diagnosis, I was just extremely happy that I had the support of my family and those that knew the Lord, because that's what I needed. Okay.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
fortification.
Mhm.
So, um, as time went by, um, and I hope I'm not talking too much.
No. I think this is a lot of the things. I'm trying not to jump in, Val, because
Okay.
but a lot of the things I think are so important for people to hear that I think we can all glean from is you got to believe that the best outcome is going to happen for you.
Yes.
And you got to connect your faith with other like-minded people who can speak
That's
into
right.
your life.
That's
And
right.
what a jewel it is to have a support system
Absolutely.
of people that will say, hey, let's come together, let's pray because you are a part of us. That
Right.
support system is gold, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it's in that day actually, um, I was talking offline to my brother on that same day at the house, and
Hmm.
he said, this is your story.
Hmm.
And you tell it to whomever you want. We will honor your privacy. And
Hmm.
until you tell us that we can tell it,
Hmm.
we won't tell it.
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know and it's your story to tell.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think you tell who you want to tell.
yeah.
And he said, at this point in time, we're praying for you as our beloved sister,
Hmm.
not only through blood but in Christ.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so he said, you want to tell everybody, tell it. If you don't
Hmm.
want to tell anybody, don't tell it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so he said, and when you're ready, if you really want to reveal it to people who really do love you,
Hmm.
he said, there are some of them that you'll be ended up fortifying, because they'll just be like, oh my God, and you have to be speaking to them,
Hmm. Hmm.
fortifying them. And he said, you know, that may be okay at some point, but
Hmm.
I don't know if it's okay at this point.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I have a cadre of girlfriends. Everybody usually does. I'm
Hmm.
sure you have your cadre of friends. I've known them since, you know, we were 18 at Michigan State.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I had, told them to pray for me for the biopsy.
Hmm.
And so of course they're like, okay, what's the story? I won't
Hmm.
even get there yet. But um as the day went by, it was interesting because my sister-in-law, who happened to be in that home, called me, to encourage me, to tell me, God's got this, we love you, we're here to support you. I asked her, because she's a very well-known surgical nurse, she knows a lot of doctors. I asked her the names. Did she know the names of these people? She said, well, I don't, but Sonia may. Sonia is my niece,
Hmm.
her daughter,
Hmm.
my brother's daughter. And I wasn't even thinking Sonia in the sense of her being an accomplished nurse in her own right. I'm
Hmm.
just thinking of my sweet niece, who's a nurse.
Hmm.
And so, as God would have it, they kept telling me, you need to talk to her. You need to talk to her. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I'm going to disclose it to all of my nieces and nephews at some point. I thought this was my story. I'm thinking that in my mind.
Right.
So, and it didn't dawn on me until my daughter said, well, Mom, they're probably telling you to call Sonia because she works in the Henry Ford Breast Clinic. She
Wow.
works, she's a fellow. She works in that area. And
Wow.
I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I forgot. So I called her that evening. It was late. I sent her a message, call your aunt. I need to talk to you. And she did. And I told her my diagnosis. And um, she said, first of all, Auntie, I am so sorry to hear that. She said, but this is not your mother's cancer.
All right.
And then she went on to say, and what you have going for you, Aunt, is your faith.
Yeah.
She said, your faith and the support that I know you have is half the battle.
Mm.
She said, there are women who come in here and they don't have that.
Mm.
They are just so blown away. So, and she said, and not that you shouldn't be, so to speak, depending on where you are in the
Mhm.
stage.
Mhm.
She said, but it makes a huge difference if you have supporting people who are there for you,
Mhm.
that and you have a faith separate and distinct even from
Mhm.
that group,
Mhm.
something that is core to you.
Mhm.
And so once I told her, it was like she was like gangbusters. The next
Mhm.
day, my path report was at the nurse navigator's desk. The next day after that, they're calling me to get, because I knew I wanted a second opinion
Mhm.
anyway.
Mhm.
And so just didn't really know where to go for that second opinion. And
Mhm.
so I got so many confirmations along the way that this was the right way to go,
Mhm.
including, my internal doctor who is not, so I'm in two different, health systems. I
Mhm.
ended up at Henry Ford Health
Mhm.
Cancer Center, and everything else for me is through the DMC, including
Mhm.
Carmonos and all of that. And even my doctor, said you made an excellent choice at Henry Ford. They are
Mhm.
excellent,
Mhm.
so God would have it. um, I ended up once we finally got the images, because they wanted all the images and everything, and finally got that. That was half the battle, really, coming
Mhm.
from one system to another. Once they got that, everything just kind of went like clockwork. And so I had a consultation. I got the doctor's name that my niece told me, look, I do know some of those doctors that you're talking about. She said, I don't know their team, but I do know this team.
Mhm.
You know, I know the radiologist. I know who's going to be on your team. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I ended up meeting with all of them. I absolutely, love their approach. They were very compassionate, knowledgeable. They walked you through. They answer your questions.
Mhm.
They were there trying to guide you through a very emotional time in your life. They're telling you the pros and cons and what they hope comes out of this. What's the best outcomes, that you can have as it relates to this. Well, as God would have it, they caught my cancer tumor very early,
Mhm.
very, very early, which is the importance of screening
Mhm.
yearly. Okay. So they
Mhm.
caught it very early. And when I had my surgery, so I'm about 3 weeks out from surgery, maybe four.
Mhm.
Um, um, they caught it early. The tumor was about the size of a fingernail.
Mhm.
That's how small it was. It
Mhm.
would not have been detected through your regular monthly breast self-examination. There's no way I would have felt it.
Mhm.
When I would have felt it, it would have been bigger
Mhm.
and grown. And there was no way that I would have felt it.
Mhm.
That mammogram and the second mammogram actually caught it early enough for it not to be a factor, so to speak. The
Mhm.
biggest thing was wanting to know if the cancer cells had gone, you know, to the lymph nodes. And so that's what the surgery was all about. There was some other new techniques that they're using that you do prior to that surgery, for guiding the surgeon, making sure they have the exact spot where the tumor is, all of that kind of stuff. I was online trying to learn everything I could learn, as best I could as a layman. And so I wanted to make myself as informed as possible as to the process and procedure. I got everything I could get on the doctor. I got everything that I could get on her credentials. She is very credentialed in what
Mhm.
they were going to do to me, the
Mhm.
lymph nodes and all of that. She's done studies and all of that. So I had God led me to the right person.
Mhm.
So as God would have it, the day of the surgery, that whole week, I had not, I finally had to tell my girlfriends. I had only told a few of them, but I finally had to get on a Zoom because they're blowing up my phone. What is the story? You know how we can be. And so, and it's all out of love.
Yeah.
And we did a Zoom, and sure enough, there's always that one, like my brother said, you're gonna have to speak to her, and I
Mhm.
did, we all did.
Mhm.
And I just, pretty much I said, listen, I believe in the sovereignty of God.
Mhm.
I don't believe if God allowed it, it's something coming for my good or
Mhm.
somebody's good.
Mhm. Mhm.
All things work together. We
Mhm.
say that all the time in
Mhm.
the good things sometimes,
Mhm.
but all
Mhm.
things work together for the good
Mhm.
of them who are called and who love the Lord and who are called
According to
according to His purpose, not
yeah,
my purpose, and
yeah,
it's not the good that I think is His good.
right.
So I don't know if it's for me to speak my faith to fortify my friend group. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's it. I
Mhm.
don't know. It could be. I do think that's part of it.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm going to be sitting in radiology because I do have to have that
Mhm.
radiation therapy. I don't know if I'm sitting there and I'm going to be there to hold somebody's hand or
Mhm.
fortify them. I don't know what that is going to be, or if it's just to tell my story,
Mhm.
but if God has allowed it, you can't say you believe in the sovereign will of God and not step in it.
Mhm.
So the Lord takes you from faith to faith to faith. And
Mhm.
so that week, um, I just was in my prayer closet. I just was in prayer. The Lord said, just trust me and praise me. And those were the
Mhm.
two words that took me through that first week when I was just wrapping my mind around the fact that I was just diagnosed with cancer.
Mhm.
And but as cancer reports go, I had a good cancer report.
Yeah.
Um, how the cancer is fueled, the receptors, all of that kind of stuff, that technical stuff. The
Mhm.
best outcome, I had it. And so the day of my surgery, um, again, just had been praying, and the Lord spoke to me through word and song. I had two songs that were in my head. I probably played it so much, my sister probably was like, "Oh, that again," but she understood, and
Mhm.
that was that song that CC Winans sings, "The Goodness of the Lord."
Yeah.
All my life you have been faithful.
You
All
have
my
been
life
faithful.
you have been so
You
so
just
good.
so good.
I'm gonna praise the
With
goodness of the
every
Lord.
breath. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just felt like really the Lord has been faithful to me in my life. He
Mhm.
really has. And
Mhm.
so the other one was praise is what we do, you
Yeah.
know. And so and scriptures and all of that. And I
Mhm.
just, of course I just thank and praise the people that were praying with me and for me that actually knew. And then there were people who didn't know. They knew I was going into surgery. They did not know why. They did not ask me. They just prayed for me.
Mhm.
And so, and when I was going into surgery, I had been prepped and everything. My surgeon came in, and who I really like. I really like her. I'll say that again. She's got a really great, compassionate spirit.
Mhm.
And she came in and she said, "Are you ready to be cancer free
Mhm.
today?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh, I receive it because I believe that my God has given you the knowledge and the tools to make that happen. So yes, I
Mhm.
am ready for you to be used as the instrument of my God." Okay. And she said, "I am too." And so um had the surgery, 2-week recovery. Just last week, they called me up and they said, "You are cancer free.
My goodness.
You are
Hallelujah.
cancer free. You now just have to go through your next stage, which is, not chemo, but radiation, which is kind of a precaution. They want to make sure there's no cells that can get out or in the skin or anything like that. That's going to be tough from what I understand. Um, so just trying to fortify my mind with that. I haven't had any, at this point, I haven't started, but it's usually like 4 weeks after,
Mhm.
surgery. So I'm thinking, probably the middle of, probably in or beginning of November, whatever. But so that's where I am. And that's my story.
Yeah.
I would encourage women to be, um, to go and get screening. And I will say, it's my understanding, talking to the doctor, and I think I told you I shared the story on a like the news thing, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I've been told by the American Cancer Society is that cancer screening is down for all cancers
Wow.
since COVID.
Wow.
You know, is down, and they're trying to really get people back to where they were with regular screening. So all cancers, not just breast cancer, but breast cancer screening for women, colon cancer screening, prostate cancer, all cancer screening is down, and they are really trying to, get people back to that place where they are going to be screened. And of course, everything hits our community so much more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Black women and breast cancer, and actually, I'm actually was persuaded to be a part of a study,
Mm.
for African American women and breast cancer. So I'm a part of a clinical study.
Mm.
My niece can get me to do anything. So I think you got one of those nieces too, Marcus. And so I am a part of that, and just trying to be healthier.
Mhm.
Joined a couple of things that they recommended to me,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of things that opens up to you, obviously.
Mhm.
And so I want to be more mindful of nutrition. So that's available to me, a nutritionist. So I'm trying to just do, be a steward of what God has given back to me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there's, so much more that could have been,
Mhm.
and my journey is not over.
Mhm.
It is not, I'm on my second half, but to God be the glory. I praise him for this day. Give us
Mhm.
this day,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so, but I am just so thankful. First of all, I'm thankful that I do have the ability to go get a mammogram.
Yeah.
So I know that the city of Detroit is offering free breast screenings to women this month. Please, if you can't, take advantage of those things that are free to you. It is better than not having anything.
Mhm.
And so I think there's all kinds of free breast screenings available for women, and tap into the American Cancer Society. You can even go to probably Henry Ford, or Carmonos for that
Mhm.
matter, and
Mhm.
get those kind of resources. And if I had not had that early screening, I would never have found that.
Mhm.
This is what they're, and I know that because I
Mhm.
felt nothing.
Mhm.
And even when they were examining me prior to the surgery, they were like, "There is no way. I don't feel this, and there is no way you would have felt it." And I'm in the area where I know it is,
Mhm.
you know. And so that's my um the takeaway that I hope everyone takes away, on the health side, is to
Mhm.
make sure that you have your screening. And
Mhm.
I say that for everybody. Men,
Mhm.
have your prostate screening, some
Mhm.
colon cancer screening,
Mhm.
all of those things. Um, and I've come to know that um, men whose mother had cancer, breast cancer, are likely to have prostate cancer. My
Mhm.
two brothers had prostate cancer. My
Mhm.
mom had breast cancer.
Wow.
Both of my brothers were diagnosed with prostate cancer, which is one of the things that they, test was their testimony to me. We've heard the C word,
Mhm.
and God has brought us through. You
Mhm.
know, and so those are things that we really have to be mindful of, and healing is not for your bucket list, but it's to continue to be his vessel on earth.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you get some of your bucket list done, great. But to God be the glory, and for those of us who are claiming to be his his instrument, his vessel, we know that we're ministers unto him,
Mhm.
and so I'm just praising God for his healing. I'm still claiming it,
Mhm.
and him bringing me through this part of the journey, and I know that he will bring me through the other part of the journey. I know what's ahead of me in terms of how radiation is going to affect my skin. There is issues with that, and they do certain things to protect your heart, all of that kind of stuff when you're going through radiation. But I'm just putting it in God's hands right now. So
Yeah. You're such a formidable part of our community and such a light regularly. So I wanted to have you share this because I know that there are men and women that are being impacted daily throughout places. And if one such person could hear from your testimony, your strength in your walk in faith, and you said something earlier, if God is sovereign, you got to at some point step into that sovereignty. You got to step into
yes,
His sovereign.
yeah.
So you're heading into the second part. So talk to us about your faith consideration, knowing that you still got a little bit of the journey to go. What do you say to people that have to walk into these valleys? What is your faith
Well, I
speaking
mean,
to?
it's funny because I didn't walk through a lot of valleys. You know that, Marcus. That's not health wise.
Yeah,
And so, you know, the Lord keeps putting me through these, trials. So thinking not strange. So He's trying to conform me for something,
yeah,
or more of something.
yeah.
So I just think about some of the journeys that I've been on that have been just monumentous. And
Mm-hmm,
I always think about I always think about the the uh the Hebrew boys and the going into the
mm-hmm,
fiery pit.
mm-hmm,
And can you imagine when those doors open what they felt?
mm-hmm,
They felt that heat. They felt that, oh my God, I'm sure that heat was just enormous.
mm-hmm,
If you've been anywhere around a fire,
mm-hmm,
bonfire can be kind of, but and so yet they kept their faith and stepped into that fire.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And they came out with not scorched, no smell of smoke. They were looking at that man that was in that flame, which was a type of Jesus.
mm-hmm,
And so um, I just say, the cross did it all.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And so if I have to say anything, it has, this has caused me to just kind of look at my gifts
mm-hmm,
and how the Lord is really bringing them out more.
mm-hmm,
I am a thinker, that, Marcus.
mm-hmm,
I'm a thinker, I'm a reader, I'm, a self-learner, I'm all of those kinds of things. I'm a
mm-hmm,
cerebral kind of person, and
mm-hmm,
I'm a writer, but
mm-hmm,
I don't write as much as I probably would like to.
mm-hmm,
And this has made me do a whole lot of journaling,
mm-hmm,
comprise a lot of prayers that I have shared with people,
mm-hmm,
and just kind of put me in a place where where I'm sharing um, the word in a different way, you
mm-hmm,
know. And so I just say, in terms of going to this next chapter um, of treatment, it hasn't really changed. I mean,
mm-hmm,
I'm in the sense that if anything, um, God has proven to me
mm-hmm,
that I am faithful,
mm-hmm,
and so one of the things that I tell people is, not even in this walk, but with anything,
mm-hmm,
and I had to come to know myself,
mm-hmm,
is there's nothing new. There's not nothing. There's the scripture that says there's nothing. I'm trying to think of the scripture, but the essence of the scripture is every human condition has existed.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Every challenge is, there's no new challenge out there. There's nothing too new to God.
mm-hmm,
I'm not
mm-hmm,
the first woman who have had breast cancer,
mm-hmm,
and I won't be the last.
mm-hmm,
You know, but there are clouds of witnesses of how God can bring you through it.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
now one of those,
Mhm.
and of course I have my own mother as a witness. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know what my mother had to do.
Mhm.
They didn't have, lumpectomies were not something that was common. But most of the time when you were diagnosed with breast cancer, when my mother had it, you were getting a mastectomy. You
Mhm.
know, um, and so, and you were doing chemo. That was just, and my mother was blessed not to have to do radiation or chemo.
Mhm.
She ended up with a mastectomy, but as God would have it, it didn't alter her life. It did
Mhm.
not change her relationship with my dad. I think I've shared you that story.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
didn't change her relationship with her children. She was, open and shared that testimony to people. And so again, a witness of what God can do. And
Mhm.
so I'm nothing special that God didn't say you're gonna, she's gonna go through this trial.
Mhm.
There's nothing new that God hasn't brought someone through,
Mhm.
or at least if they have not been cured, if you've putting your trust in him where he hasn't given you sufficient enough grace to embrace that journey, and somehow you come out with a better testimony that you can tell someone else about the faithfulness of God, even if it's just keeping you in your mind and keeping you praising and keeping you serving.
Mhm.
That's a testimony. I
Mhm.
think about, you know, um, I had my surgery week one. I was out, and and couldn't go to church or whatever. And I'm not in a huge church, so everybody counts
Mhm.
in my church.
Mhm.
Everybody is on their station. It
Mhm.
is important for you to be there. When
Mhm.
you want to go on vacation, you got to do a whole lot of planning.
Mhm.
Okay. And so, what I thought of, I was out that one week and I was back the next.
Mhm.
And I thought about my dad. And my
Mhm.
father was had an illness that plagued him for many years,
Mhm.
okay, as he was a pastor. And when he was hospitalized on Saturday night, on Saturday morning, he was bugging his doctors to get him out of there because he
Mhm.
needed to get there. I mean, my father would will a oxygen
Mhm.
tank and come and sit in his pulpit
Mhm.
and show that you serve the Lord in adversity, or what you believe is adversity, and in times when it's not, you
Mhm.
know. And
Mhm.
so that was a testament to me,
Mhm.
and I don't put myself on the same plane of faith as my daddy,
Mhm.
okay, because he was quite the man of God, okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
but I do know that he showed me to be faithful in all things, okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so in terms of, I don't know, what everybody else does, but in terms of my life, you know, that is, why I exist.
Mhm.
I believe that the Lord choosing me and calling me is why I am here. He is
Mhm.
not done with my course yet.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so whether that is through my praise, or whether that praise comes out in my workplace sometimes, or whomever I might touch, the Lord is not done with my course.
Yes.
And so for that, okay, Lord, I'm here for you. I'm
Mhm.
here for you. And it's not to say that you don't have those moments when you like, oh my goodness, and I haven't even gone through the physical aspect yet. I
Right.
did have surgery, but God would have it. It was, I didn't have a lot of pain, and you know, um, it's healing great. And I was able to return to work, and I probably could have returned to work, sooner if I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure that I took that time for myself. And I do think that you should do that. You take that time for yourself. If you've got time to be off, do it. You know, and take that time for yourself. Even if you don't have the time, carve out some time in your day to just reflect on what you've been through and reflect on what you are going to go through and reflect on those who you want to be your support, because there are people that love you that really can't be your support. They love you, but they can't be your support, because you
Mm.
do need somebody that when you want to cry your tears, they're there to let you do it, and they're not
Mhm.
boo-hooing and you got to hand them the hanky.
Right.
But so I just feel like I don't know what's on the other side of the
Mhm.
next part of this journey. I
Mhm.
just know that I am trying to remain faithful to what God has given to me. I'm trying to remain faithful in what I speak, that
Mhm.
people, it's not just lip service, but people can actually see it, you
Mhm.
know. And I knew that that was one of the reasons why my dad would make the effort to make sure he was there,
Mhm.
so people could see,
Mhm.
what God can do,
Mhm.
and so his grace is sufficient. So I'll certainly tell you when everything's over. If you want me over to tell you the others on the other side what happened, I'll be happy to do that. Um, I have a lot of people who, respected that I initially did not want to, talk too much about it. But, they're all happy now that I am, because they just feel like it's a great, testimony.
It is it's an amazing testimony. And I think people who probably haven't really thought about it, Val, going through this pandemic, just not getting tests and not,
Yeah.
just trying to make it through the pandemic, but how critically important it is for something that you say and your doctor said you wouldn't have felt, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
found.
Would not have found it on my own. And so that's nothing but the Lord right
Nothing
there.
but the Lord.
You know,
Nothing but the Lord.
nothing but the goodness of the Lord, and just praising him for the technology that's there that can be used for just that. And and just grateful. I am grateful.
Yes.
I am grateful.
Yes. And you said one more thing I'm going to ask before you go. You said there are people that love you that really can't be your support. What do you say to people who aren't sure how to bring together their support system? Because some people won't,
Oh,
as you said, be fortunate enough to have that support system. So, what would you advise to them to do?
so I know because actually my niece was telling me about this.
Mhm.
And she actually is part of her duties in the clinic is a part of being a part of the support groups. She's a liaison to the support groups. So there are support groups, at Henry Ford Cancer Center. There are support groups at Carmonos. I'm sure you can find, if you Googled it, I'm sure you can find support groups that make that, maybe aren't your family, but they're women who have gone through this journey with you, have gone through this journey and can absolutely support you based on their experience,
Mhm.
And so I would probably avail myself of those kind of support groups. And I'm not saying that I won't, you
Mhm.
know, um, those kind of support groups, because maybe on the other side I do want that support group. I
Mhm.
haven't really explored that, you
Mhm.
know, at the time of my diagnosis, because I didn't really feel I needed that. I had that support. I had that village. I had those people that were praying with me, that understood where I was going. I had those folks that were, every morning sending me affirmations and, asking me, what can I do for you? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I knew it was in sincerity, because
Mhm.
sometimes I took them up on it,
Mhm.
and it
Mhm.
wasn't, it wasn't like, oh, I didn't mean for you to take it up, but it was in sincerity. And
Mhm.
so they have all kinds of, I would say, avail yourself of those support groups that come out of those cancer institutes. That's what they're there for. They actually raise all that kind of money, not just for research, which is important, but for those kind of programs to help people who don't have that familiar support, or may not have that friendship support, or maybe you're not faith based. I don't know.
Mhm.
But they have those things there to help you through this journey, with women who have gone through it, And so, so it is, there is support out there, outside of your family if you don't want that or don't have that, or outside of a friend group or whatever. So, things to think about, other resources.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Valerie Colbert-Osamwedi, we love you in the Love and Stuff community. And as I said, you're a big part of our push for the love of justice. And I just believe what you said earlier. I think that he is strengthening you for more, to give more. I think you're already giving a lot, but I think he's strengthening you for the more. And I'm excited to see what that more is. But I know that there are so many people that can benefit from your wisdom and now this testimony of how you are cancer free. And I am grateful of what God has done. I am absolutely grateful and thankful for what he has done and is doing in you and through you. And I think you have opened eyes, at least I hope eyes, that people say, hey, it's really important for you to get
Yeah.
that screening because you have no idea what could be lurking, could be there. And
Yes.
by the time that you have an idea, it could be too late for you to be able to do anything about it. So I'm so grateful that you made time for us tonight. And I look so forward to having you back as you go through the journey, but having you back for the love of justice, because, that's another fight that we have.
Right.
And we
Right.
want everybody to be engaged in that fight. And you bring a cerebral approach to that I think teaches us all. And so may you be fortified in this journey, and may every great thing that God has in store for you unfold before your eyes. I'm just so
Amen.
thankful that you
Amen.
have made it, and I'm looking for you to keep making it, keep on making it and being there
I'm
for
claiming
all.
it. I'm claiming it through faith, and you know, we say it all the time, and I gotta find a new word for awesome God, because we say awesome so much. So now I gotta find another one that's really even better than awesome. But before I sign off, there's that song that Sandy Patty sings.
Mm.
I wish someone like Yolanda Adams would pick it up and sing it. But she sings that song, More Wonderful.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
more wonderful than my mind can conceive. He's
Mm,
more wonderful than my heart can believe. He
mm,
goes beyond my highest hopes and fondest dreams. He's
mhm,
everything that
mm.
my heart has ever longed for. He's everything that he promised, and so much
So
more.
much
He's
more.
more than amazing,
Yeah.
more than miraculous, more
Yeah.
than marvelous could ever be. He's more than everything. And that's what Jesus is to me. So that's my testimony this day.
I love it. And that is a fitting close. He is more than wonderful. And I hope that people in that spirit will be aware that there's an opportunity for him to be wonderful in their lives as well.
Absolutely.
Valerie, thank you so much for being
Absolutely.
here with us. We really appreciate it. Everybody, have a great night. Click share so that people will become aware of what we need to do, and not just for ourselves, but for everybody in our community. Let's get our tests. Let's get back on the track to ensure that we are trying to live the best life, the healthiest life that we can, and having the screenings that will help us stay in front of it. Thank you all and have a great night.